So, in just what is seemingly just out of nowhere, out of left field sort of thing here, no, completely unforeseeable. But it is a rumor. It's just a rumor. Xbox to enact substantial cuts to staff and new round of layoffs. Who completely out of left field. I mean, it's who would have thought that when you keep producing bad games, you're gonna have to lay people off. A new rumor alleges that Xbox will undergo a new round of layoffs in the next week or so. This new rumor comes from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, who claims managers within Xbox are expecting substantial cuts across the entire group, according to people familiar with the plans who asked not to be identified discussing non-public information. This is not the first round of cuts that Xbox has faced over the last 2 years. In January 2024, the company laid off around 1,900 employees after it acquired Activision Blizzard. At the same time, CEO of gaming at Microsoft, Phil Spencer, explained the cuts were to align on a strategy and an execution plan with a substantial cost structure that will support the whole of our growing business. Together, we set priorities, identified areas of overlap, and ensure that we're aligned on the best opportunities for growth. As part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles out of the 22,000 people on our team. Now, again, there's a reason for this. When you make bad games, you don't have to worry about allocating people and firing people and closing studios down and this and that. But when you do have to do that, it's because you're making shitty games and you're not making any money from it. We have Avowed right there. I was going to say Song of the South. That's South of Midnight. South of Midnight. I mean, people, the usual suspects were praising it because, oh my god, representation. But as for the game itself, they're like, well, it looked nice. It looked nice, but looking nice, it doesn't make a game successful. It doesn't. No one really played it. In an interview with Polygon in March 2024, he shared that the cuts were due to what he sees as a lack of growth in the industry, as well as the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It's a little bit of both, but I'll say the thing that has me most concerned for the industry is the lack of growth. When you have an industry that is projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars, and you get a lot of publicly traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investor growth, people, because why else does anybody own a share of somebody's stock if it's not going to grow? There you go. You make bad games, investors don't want to invest. Because investors, believe it or not, don't care about player count. They care about how much money you're making. So if you have a game that isn't selling, those investors are going to pull out extremely fast. Like, dudes who say their pullout game is good will look at them and stare in awe and jealousy. They're going to say, I wish my pullout game was like that. That is how fast investors are going to pull out. Investors are there to make money. But if companies keep producing games that aren't selling and all of that, and there's layoffs, and investors are like, okay, well, been like a year or two, and you guys still aren't really making any money, so fades away. Why not? Because why else does somebody own a share of someone's stock if it's not going to grow? The side of business that then it gets scrutinized is the cost side. Because if you're not going to grow the revenue side, then the cost side becomes challenged. In September 2024, Spencer and Xbox cut another 650 employees. In an email sent to staff that was obtained by IGN, Spencer said, as part of aligning our post-acquisition team structure and managing our business, we have made the decision to eliminate approximately 650 roles across Microsoft Gaming, mostly corporate and supporting functions, to organize our business for long-term success. When they say long-term success, they're meaning, hey, we're gonna get rid of you because we just don't have the money to sustain ourselves right now. So less people means less people to have to pay. Why? Because our games are bombing. He added, with these changes, our corporate and supporting teams and resources are aligned for substantial future growth and can better support our studio teams and business units with programs and resources that can scale to meet their needs. Separately, as part of running the business, there are some impacts to other teams as they adapt to shifting priorities and manage the life cycles and performances of games. In January, Business Insider reported that Microsoft laid off employees across organizations including security, experiences, and devices, sales, and gaming. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed the layoffs, sharing that they were small, but did not give a specific number. How much is small? Yes. The company had a number of big commercial failures over the past year, including Compulsion's game South of Midnight, Obsidian's Avowed, Ninja Theory's Senua Saga Hellblade 2, and Machine Games Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And I know for Indiana Jones, a lot of it was having to do with the demand for the you know requirements for it. It's like, oh yeah, you want to play the game? Well, you're gonna need this. So it wasn't even a game that was friendly to people that may have good PCs but aren't the best. So people were like, I want to play it, but I can't because my PC isn't good enough. So it just completely was out of reach for a lot of PC gamers. Um, South of Midnight, same thing. Well, not same thing actually, but people were like, well, it looked nice, but it was a short game. I think someone said it was like 7, 8 hours long, which this day and age, if you're gonna pay $70 for a game, you're paying $70, and a lot of time you get 30 plus, sometimes up to 100 hours of gameplay. This game was like 7, 8 hours. It's like the same length as like a Nintendo 64 game or a PlayStation game. Like, how are you producing that in 2024, 2025, and the game's only 7 hours long, and you're expecting people to pay $70 for it? Then people saying the game's really nothing that special. It looks nice, but other than that, it's kind of like what they say about everything else. Dragon Age the Failguard. Oh, it looks nice. Avowed. Oh, it looks nice. But that looking nice doesn't save a game. It doesn't. It doesn't. Um, like here's Avowed. It looks decent. It looks nice, but graphics don't save a game. Most time people don't care about graphics as long as a game runs properly. I think people care more about the game running at like 60 frames than they do about, they care about like graphics. Um, but these are all games that came out and just failed. Obsidian Gaming, or Obsidian Entertainment. I mean, we know why they failed. Intentionally going out of their way to piss off fans. Freaking Matt Hansen. He likes soft, sensual kissing. He likes to make love. Mr. I'm gonna come out and directly say that I prioritize black applicants over white applicants because this place is filled with crusty white dudes. Um, when you prioritize pandering to a small group of people, you know full well that you're going to get the backlash. And then people saw the game and it was like, okay, this game kind of really, really, really sucks. Like it's an RPG, and there was like hardly any RPG elements about it. You know, you're put into this world, right? And you expect to be able to interact with things. You know, you look at any game from the past. You know, Elden Rings, uh, or I think like even like stuff like Lord of the Rings Online, or whatever it may be. You know, you can go around, you can knock stuff off tables, you can break things, you can kill the residents if you want. But this game, nope, nope. There was like hardly any interaction with anything. And this is 2025. This, you know, there was more interaction with stuff in the Wind Waker back in like what, 2004, 2003, 2004. So, but you know, between lackluster gameplay and lackluster games, people coming out and attacking fans, these companies aren't making the games that they should. Instead, they're making games that will some kind of message in the end or during, and people get tired of it. People don't play. Investors see that the numbers are just not there money wise because again, investors don't care about, oh my god, thank you guys for 3 million players. No. Does that 3 million players equal 3 million copies sold? No, it doesn't. And I've said it before. They did the same thing with Dragon Age. They were like, oh, thank you for like what was it, like 3 million people within like the first week or whatever, or a few days. But then you find out it's like 3 million players, right, in the first day or two. But then you find out that it took them about 2 months just to sell 1 million copies. So clearly, player count and copies sold, they have no correlation. Just because it's 3 million players doesn't mean 3 million copies sold. And investors look at this and say, okay, 3 million players. Where's the money, though? We don't invest in player counts. We invest in companies that are selling games that are good and people are actually buying. So where's the money? Where's the money? Where's my money, man? But I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox has to do this again. And honestly, I've said before, it's all the people. The fault comes not only from the company themselves, but all the freaking idiots out there who are like, oh my god, leave big company alone. Oh, you're just a phobus and ism if you don't like the game. Instead of holding the company accountable for making a subpar slot product and then releasing it for 70 fucking dollars, no, just just completely absolve them of any responsibility or fault and just blame the fans. Because that seems to be working out real fucking well. Real fucking well. But you know, these are the same people who are like, oh my god, you're all cheering because people are getting laid off. Well, did you think that maybe if you people started holding these companies accountable, maybe these people wouldn't have to be laid off? If you make a good game and make lots and lots of money, big peepee numbers, then maybe you won't have to lay people off. I know, crazy, right? You make money, you get to keep your staff. You don't make money, you have to lay people off. So maybe instead of fucking jerking these companies off, how about holding them accountable instead of going after fans, going after them, the people who are calling out the bullshit? Is that a thing? Could that possibly be something that can happen in the near future? So until you people get it through your heads that the companies need to be held accountable, congratulations. Even more, another round. Give us another round. Layoffs for everyone. Give us another round of layoffs. And it's all because of people like you, the ones who just defend these companies rather than holding them accountable. Because until the day where everyone holds them accountable, they're going to continue to hide behind the people, the morons who say, oh God, please leave Big Daddy company alone. The companies are going to be like, we don't have to change. Sure, we have to lay people off, but they're clearly people who support us. So we'll just ignore the haters. So the only time it'll change is when everyone is in agreement that the fault is of the staff, of the writers who don't know how to write a good story anymore and rather put the message in. Ugly character design can have a big impact. Terrible, releasing games with bugs. Like, we are not beta testers. Like, there are games that have like a PTR. These games are not those kinds of games. They don't have PTR where you're like, oh yeah, let me go in and find the bugs and glitches and this and that. No, these AAA games that are selling for $70 a game, people are getting hold of them and it's like, okay, well, I can't even continue in the game because this bug is making it impossible. We're not beta testers. You have people who get paid to do it. But sure, don't hold them accountable. Don't hold them accountable. Come after the fans calling it out. So, if Xbox does indeed release or do another round of layoffs, guess you should have made better games. Guess you should stop hiding behind your little shields on Twitter and using them as like, oh, well, we don't have to change. Maybe the people who are defending these companies need to start holding them accountable. So all those good people who are about to lose their jobs, that's on you. That's on you. We're telling you how to make games better and what to do to change it to where good people don't have to lose their jobs. But you stupid fucking morons don't want to listen. It's just like, so you know what? Who cares now? Great job, guys. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.